Good morning, good morning, good morning, my brothers and sisters. Good morning, and welcome, welcome, welcome to another Good Morning Grief Devotion. It's your boy, Pastor Corey Allen Duncan Sr. So happy and excited to have this wonderful opportunity to come to you on today to lead you in a very special way in today's Good Morning Grief Devotion. This is the daily grief devotion that is strategically designed to help you to navigate through your grief one day at a time. What is grief? I'm so glad you asked. Grief, my brothers and sisters, it is the natural and normal response to loss, change, and transition that results in the expressions of feelings and emotions. Grief is what you feel on the inside. Mourning is how you express it on the outside. Therefore, we don't suppress it, but we express it. We don't ignore it, but we explore it. We don't conceal it, but we reveal it. We don't lock it up, but we let it out. And that's why we shout good morning, because morning is a good thing. I want to thank you for joining us on this morning as we lead you in a very special way in today's Good Morning Grief devotion. Today is day 158. We're going to get this thing straight. We're going to talk about it's okay to step away from thoughts that are pulling me under. It's okay to step away from thoughts that are pulling me under. Y'all, if you didn't catch our 7 a.m. devotion, these things are lining up perfectly. 7 a.m. devotion, we talked about thoughts and thinking and how you are, what you eat, just all of these different things. It dealt with how the mind is the battleground and everything starts with the mind. It's the central hub and all of this. So we come to our grief devotion and we are once again talking about thoughts. Everything is lining up and it's absolutely beautiful. Again, it's okay to step away from thoughts that are pulling me under. Let's talk about it, y'all. Here it is. Certain things about the death are especially hard for me to think about and feel. I know that moving toward my grief instead of away from it is what I need to do on my journey to healing. But sometimes a thought pulls me under. Sometimes a thought pulls me under. Let's read it again. Certain things about the death are especially hard for me to think about and feel, right? Yes, the goal is to move towards your grief. The goal is to navigate through it. But a lot of times, certain times, there are certain thoughts and feelings that may sink to pull you under like a riptide in the water, right? If you know anything about riptides in the ocean, it can pull you under. There are certain thoughts, certain feelings, certain things about the death, the loss, the change, the transition that happened, that took place, that if you're not careful, if you linger there too long, it will seek and attempt to pull you all the way under. And so what do we do? What do we do when we have that? If I'm supposed to move towards my grief, but I got certain thoughts to pull me over, what am I supposed to do? When this happens, it's a sign that I need a break from my grief. I step away and I do something else. Y'all, and I know we talk all the time, grief is what you feel, mourning is what you reveal, befriend your grief, sit with it, acknowledge it, move, grieve more. And we gonna do all of that, right? But sometimes what we do is like anything else. We dip in and we dip out. We dip in and we dip out. Whatever job you work, you don't work 24 hours a day, right? You go to work 8 hours, you dip in, and what do? You dip out. When it comes to sleep, you just don't sleep. Sleep, 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 sleep. No, you don't do that. You sleep for a little while, you dip in, and you dip out. Anything that you do, really, it is a rhythm. Think about it. It's a rhythm. You don't eat all the time. You don't eat 24/7. You eat, you dip in, and then you dip out, right? Anything that you do, exercising, you don't exercise 24 hours a day. What do? You dip in, you get on that treadmill, you go for that walk, you lift them weights, and then what? You dip out. I give it a break. It's really the rhythm to life. Anything we do when we go on vacation, what do? You dip in, go on vacation for a week or two, have a wonderful time, and then what do? You dip back out. Grief is the same way. We don't stay in a constant state of grieving and mourning 24/7 to where we're doing this work of healing. No, a lot of times, because it can be some painful things, it's hard to face, these situations, these circumstances. It's hard to process, it's hard to do all of this. And so, like anything else, we do the work. We dip in to do the work. And there are some things that we feel or some things that we navigate through or just, looking at how painful a lot of stuff is. What do? We pull out. It's a dance. It's an ebb and flow. It's a back and forth. for the things that are extremely, the thoughts or the feelings that are like too hard for us to process. A lot of times when we process what happened and how it happened, and we just process certain aspects of it, it can be overwhelming, right? And so what do? When it happens as a sign we need a break from our grief, we step away and we do something else. When it's time to encounter that same thought again, here it is. I'll reach out for some support. I'll talk to a friend or a fellow mourner. I'll go to support group or meeting. I'll visit a grief counselor. I need help befriending the hardest things, right? When it's time to encounter that same thing, that's why we develop a rhythm of mourning. We develop this rhythm. We develop this rhythm where we are going through this process where we're getting help, we're getting assistance, we dip in, we dip out, we're going, we come. It's the back and forth, right? Whether it's weekly, whether it's every other week, whatever the case may be, right? It's too much to stay in a constant state of plugging away and what happened of doing this work. And so, especially when things are hard concepts, for certain things are just so hard for us to process. So what do? We dip in and then we dip out. And when it's time to encounter that same thought again, reach out for support. Talk to a friend, fellow mourner. This is what we do. You don't just want to suppress. You don't want to say, oh, this is too hard that I just suppress. I want you to think of it in terms of working out a lot of times. Like, it's not always fun. It's not always what we want to do. Sometimes we can make it fun. Like grief work, we can make it fun. We can make it enjoyable. Sometimes it's hard. And no, so with it being hard, and this is a great analogy, thank you, Lord. So like lifting weights and working out, you running, you being out of breath, you on the treadmill, your heart is jumping out your chest, you jumping rope, you doing all this stuff, you doing resistance training. These weights is hard, hard, and so we do it for what we do it for an hour, and then we rest. We eat healthy, we get sleep, and we may come back the next day. We may come back 2 days later. We may do resistance training 2 or 3 days a week, right? We'll come back 2 days and we're gonna do it again. I know it's hard, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go ahead and do it, right? And then we rest, we recover, we allow our bodies to build back up, and then we come back 2 or 3 days later. And it's hard. I know this is hard. Yeah, but I gotta go through it. So I'm trying to be a healthier version of myself. And so bam, it's the same thing doing grief work. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna see a counselor, a coach, a therapist. I'm gonna sit down with my grief group. I'm gonna talk about my feelings because Pastor Duncan said, grief is what you feel, mourning is what you reveal, and revealing can be hard. I'm gonna do it. It's like lifting. I'm gonna do it, and after I do it, I need to recover. I need to break. I need to rest. I need to. But you know what? I'm gonna get back in that grief gym again. 2 or 3 days or a week or every 2 weeks. I'm gonna get back in there. And when it comes to the gym, everybody doesn't always want to go, right? But it's like I don't want to go, but I need to go. I'm gonna do it, right? It's the same thing a lot of times, right? I know I need this is gonna be healthy and beneficial for me. It's gonna be more instrumental than detrimental, and so I'm going. It's the same thing. You got to do the work. You got to do the work. If you want to be in a better position, you got to do the work. But understanding, I'm gonna do the work. I'm gonna dip in. I'm gonna dip out. I'm gonna dip in. I'm gonna dip out. I'm gonna develop this rhythm to help me to be better. I need help befriending the hardest things. Here's the final thought. I remember my mind serves my spirit, not the other way around. My mind serves my spirit, not the other way around. This is day 158. It's okay to step away from thoughts that are pulling me under. It's okay to step away from thoughts that are pulling me under. Questions if you got them. I appreciate y'all joining us on today. Thank y'all for your participation. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all. Appreciate it. Pastor John watch from India along with 26 pastors. Oh, that is absolutely awesome. Thank you for watching from India along with 26 pastors. Yep, this is our daily grief devotion that we navigate through helping people to mourn in a meaningful way. So thank you for joining us. So glad. Any questions from anybody? Questions, comments? Questions, comments, anybody. We're here every single day, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I appreciate y'all being a part of our daily grief devotion. Let's continue to do this great work Let's continue to navigate through our season of grief so that we can be the best version of ourselves. Thank you for this grief class. This morning grief has definitely been helping me. My husband's birthday is June 21st and mine is June the 20th. That's when the grieving starts setting in. Yes. Thank you for sharing that, Felicia Henderson. We're holding space for you as you navigate through this month of June that are filled with reminders and special dates in your life. And so thank you for being a part of this village. Man, appreciate all of y'all. Look, I hope and pray y'all have a thriving Thursday. I love y'all with the love of the Lord. I'll see y'all tomorrow, same time, same place. Let's go.